So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Thursday Live. I am Denise Armenio, certified genius practitioner and body code practitioner, as well as quantum healing practitioner. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I have Claire McIntyre here assisting. So thank you, Claire, for being here and helping, and welcome everybody else. This is a great place for training and learning how to use the genius. For those of you that are just beginning, I will go over all the basics, and those of you who have been using the genius for some time, it helps reinforce and go over things that you may not have picked up, and sometimes just hearing it second, third, fourth time, it registers and makes sense. Today, we are going to be working with the new Genius AI that is built into the Genius app, and how you can work with it and what it's really telling you. So with that, I'm going to get started. I am going to just, we're not really going to do like a full session. We'll just go through different parts. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. And I'm just going to do like a test, a test profile. So normally you would enter the name of the person that you're working with, or pet, or home. You would put the address that you're working with to start a new session. And or if you already have a client set up, you would go to access your client fields. So I'm just going to click on that, and I'm just going to hit test. Okay, so now that we're in the Genius, this is the first screen that you're going to see. And here is where you would leave a voice recording. So I'm just going to demonstrate this for everybody so you can see how it works. I'm just going to press on the record button. And then once I do that, I'm going to repeat the vowels A, E, I, O, U until the 15 seconds runs out. So here we go. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. A, E. Okay, so now that that's finished, you get a pop-up and asks you if you want to listen to the recording. I always recommend you press the voice harmonics button here so that you can do that. And there is benefits to listening to it. It's kind of like cancels out like. So I do recommend that you listen to it. So here we go. Okay, so right now you could also see that the Genius AI is showing here. And whoops, hold on, everybody. So let's just press it and see what it says. So it says, explore your findings from your voice analysis. Okay, so let's see. So it says voice frequency analysis overview. The client, that's me, but this isn't 100% because I didn't put my name in the field or my birth date. This is just a test. So this isn't going to be 100% true analysis because it's not attached to my name, but we'll just see what it says. The client's voice spectrum results provide insight into their current energetic state, through the analysis of harmonic field signatures, 3D spectral frequency distribution, and voice formats, F0 through F5. This analysis offers a preliminary understanding of potential areas of stress, dysregulation, and energetic imbalances that may be influencing their overall well-being. So now to the voice frequency interpretation. The format frequencies extracted from the client's voice scan are as follows. So we have FO, which is 140.74 hertz. FO represents foundational energy, vitality, and adrenal tone. A value of 140.74 hertz suggests a relatively moderate level of foundational energy. This frequency is within a typical range for someone with balanced adrenal function, indicating adequate vitality and resilience. F1, which is 422.23 hertz. F1 is associated with emotional regulation, fluid balance, and the sacral center. The value of 422.23 is slightly elevated, potentially indicating heightened emotional sensitivity or fluid dysregulation. This may reflect an underlying challenge in managing emotional responses or possible issues related to fluid retention. F2, 1079.04 hertz. F2 is linked to self-esteem, digestion, and the solar plexus. A frequency of 1079.04 hertz is relatively high, suggesting potential overstimulation in the solar plexus area. This could be related to stress affecting digestion or issues with self-worth and personal empowerment. F3, 1266.70 hertz corresponds to emotional expression, heart-lung coherence, and emotional release. The value of 1266.70 hertz indicates a heightened state, potentially reflecting either intense emotional expression or stress manifesting in the heart or lungs. This could suggest challenges in emotional regulation or a need for improved heart center coherence. So this is all really great information that we're getting in here. It then goes on to say potential areas of energetic stress or dysregulation. It's pointing out emotional and the sacral center, solar plexus and digestion, heart, lung, thyroid and communication, mental activity and intuition. Patterns to pay attention to. The analysis reveals a pattern of elevated upper formants, indicating potential energetic overload in the following areas. So it goes on to tell you this. It also gives you a disclaimer. So there's quite a bit of information in here that you could send to your client. I would just, always read it through first, as with any AI with ChatGPT. It does occasionally make errors. So I would just always read everything through. If it doesn't seem right to you, maybe you don't want to send it, but it seems to be, the information that comes through is really interesting. So we're all just starting out using this, but, this is really neat. For the first time, we're actually getting interpretations of what the voice formats actually mean. So this is really quite interesting. So we can move on. It also gives you the ability to send it to the client here. So if you send it to the client, I don't have an email. It just says, that it just gives you the email where you could send it to. So I'm just going to close out of here, and now we can hit next. Okay, and I'm going to hit continue. And now it gives you an opportunity to take a photo. So I'm going to say, take a picture. And there we are, a big picture. Lovely. And hit done. And now we could hit. And again, the Genius AI comes up again. So now we're all given an opportunity to get a lot more information than we were ever able to really give before, because we never really knew what these numbers meant. So let's look and see what it says. So explore findings in image analysis. So has anybody who is watching this right now, have you played around with the Genius AI? Have you seen any of these that have come up? Be curious to see what you think about it. Okay, so the first thing is the text is small, but there's a lot of information here. It says, based on the provided facial image, I analyze the client's emotional, energetic, and personality patterns using the principles of face reading, traditional Chinese medicine, and somatic and emotional resonance. Since there's no voice sample provided, well, oops, we'll have to mention that. I'm actually going to take a screenshot here. Hold on, guys, because clearly that's a little bit of a boo-boo. I'll focus on the facial analysis. So the facial analysis, the client has a gentle, relaxed facial expression with a subtle, enigmatic smile. Her curly blonde hair frames her face, and her eyes appear bright and expressive. So we do know that it's looking at me because it does know that I have blonde curly hair. So that's good. Facial shape and symmetry. The client's face is relatively symmetrical, indicating a balanced and harmonious inner world. Her facial shape is oval, suggesting a creative and empathic personality. I would agree. Eye structure. Her eyes are deep set, which can indicate introspective and a rich inner life. The brightness in her eyes suggests a sense of curiosity and engagement with the world. The client's forehead is moderately high, indicating a balance between rational thinking and intuitive insight. Lips and jaw. Her lips are relaxed and her jawline is smooth, suggesting a calm and collected demeanor. However, slight tension around the mouth may indicate a subtle suppression of emotional expression. We can go on and read this, but this is all very interesting information, and information that I wouldn't have known or to say before. So I think this is all pretty cool that we're able to read this and share it. And it helps give you insight that it really is what it's interpreting from the picture. So, and how that information adds to the overall scan. So this is all pretty cool. And then it gives supportive practices that you could do: journaling, gentle vocal toning or humming. Of course, run some Genius Insight libraries. Here it's suggesting running the emotional clearing, kidney adrenal support, heart resonant feels libraries may help the client maintain energetic balance and promote emotional well-being. Again, you have the opportunity to send it to the client. And to continue on, you can just X out, and then we can just hit next. An energetic affirmation. I'm just going to put in here, I am love. Whoops. And hit OK. Now, when you put something in the energetic affirmation field, what the Genius does here, it translates just like it translated my spoken word into frequencies or formants. This translates the written word into frequencies as well. And it's very similar to what it will do if you decide to create any libraries. You just type in the phrase that you want to work with, and it will translate that into a frequency. So I'm just going to hit OK. And the frequency of that affirmation will run as I run any other frequencies within this session, it is layered over it. So now you can see the system overview. It says it up here at the top, and you see your three main categories: body, mind, and biofield. And if you have purchased or someone has shared with you, or you've created library panels, you will then get this fourth banner, which says custom libraries. But if you don't have that, you will only see the three: body, mind, and biofield. And now you can go down to the bottom where it says begin session. It's really kind of analysis because we're not starting this session yet. We're just letting it collect its information. Okay, and now we see all the different kind of libraries that are under body. And each one of these goes a little bit, you can open it up or click on it and you can see all the information. So for example, for chemical sensitivities, we can either click on this red line here, or we can click on the arrow right to the left, and it will show us all the items that are under chemical sensitivities and what value it has. I will go over how to interpret these values in just a minute. But I just wanted to show that the little magnifying glass here, if you click on it, will give you just a little bit more information in case you didn't know what it is. And now we can just click the little arrows again and it will close that. Now, if we clicked on the line, oh, I didn't mean to add that. It will now give you a view where you can see it color coded. I do think most people like to view it this way. It's just easier to see which items you need to work with. So that's just an example. I'm going to clear this main whole tray for a minute. Okay, so we can go down. What I like to do first, whenever I start, is always scroll down to the biofield section and click on aura. This way we can get a before and after aura picture. So I'm just going to click on that. Okay, so I can hide the avatar so we can see the whole picture here, or we can switch to see what the aura field looks like. And we also, so you could see this is blue and green. A great sign here is that all four corners are filled with color. That is indicating that I'm grounded and I'm 100% in my body. Green and blue is, green is healing, heart chakra, blue is communication, throat chakra. And then we can switch back here and we can see what the Genius AI says. Okay, so this is really great because some people don't really know how to interpret the aura. So this gives you a little bit of a foundation and a little bit more information on how to interpret what it means. So it says energetic field overview. The aura scan reveals predominantly pink and red energy field with a bright yellow center. This center, that confuses me a little bit because to me, this is the center. So I do recommend that you always read it through a little bit just to make sure that it aligns. But so anyway, I just wanted to point that out. suggesting a strong heart-centered energy with a vibrant core of personal power and creativity. The field is symmetrical and radiates outward, indicating an overall openness and expansive energy. The colors appear to be pulsing, gently reflecting a dynamic, emotional, and spiritual state. The dominant pink hue surrounding the aura suggests a strong connection to love, compassion, and nurturing energies. The red tones indicate a presence of passion, energy, and possibly some stress or tension related to survival or basic needs. The bright yellow at the center signifies confidence, optimism, and strong sense of self. The overall aura suggests that the individual is in a period of emotional processing, potentially healing from past wounds or stressors. The aura's pulsing pattern may indicate a current state of emotional flux or a heightened sensitivity to the environment. The lack of noticeable gaps or tears in the field is a positive sign, suggesting that the individual's energetic boundaries are relatively intact. Then goes on to talk about cross-sensory validation, while the specific data from the voice format analysis and facial image scan, again, this is, I need to take a picture here, are not provided, but they were. We can infer some correlations. The heart-centered energy and emotional processing indicated by the aura may align with vocal patterns that show emotional resonance or sensitivity. Facial image analysis might reveal signs of stress or tension around the heart or throat areas corresponding to the aura's red and pink tones. Okay, so I would kind of not send that, only because there was information provided. So I will mention this to Ryan so we can, it may just be how a question or where it's interpreting the information from. So, but once that's corrected, that should really be interesting information to see how that's working. Recommended genius frequencies. So then it gives you suggested frequencies that you might want to work on to correct what it's interpreting is going on in the aura, and some supportive practices, heart-centered meditation, journaling. And then it goes on to say, client reflection and integration message. Your aura reflects a journey of heart-centered healing and growth with a strong core of personal power. As you navigate this process, remember that your energy field is a dynamic reflection of your inner state. By tuning into your heart and cultivating self-love, you continue to nurture your emotional and spiritual well-being. So I'm sure clients would really find a lot of this information helpful. So, this is, really helpful information and could really enhance your practice by being able to include more information in the scans. There is this little trends thing on the side. If you click that, it will basically tell you what is showing up for most people. You can play with that. I'm not really going to use that right now, but this will just show you what's trending on people that are using the Genius today. Okay, so let's get back to basics a little bit. What do the numbers and the colors mean? So the Genius uses a numerical value system from 1 to 777. And that range is divided into 4 ranges. Our lowest range goes from 1 to 200, and that's represented by the color blue. And items in this range are observed to be chronic energetic disturbances, which could also represent stagnation, suppressed emotions. It could also be like under energy. But what we definitely know is that items in this range are causing a crisis on the overall system or body biofield, wherever it's showing up. So our next range goes from 201 to 450, and that is represented by the color green. Then after that, we go from 451 to 600. That's represented by the color yellow. And our high range, that goes from 601 to 777, represented by the color red. Items observed in this range are observed to be acute energetic disturbances, meaning that they just occurred. And the blue ones, which I think I forgot to say, are chronic energetic disturbances. So they've been out of balance for a longer period of time. So the ones in the high range are currently out of balance, and they're causing a stress on the body right now. And they're showing up now in the red because they need to be worked on right now. They can also be referred to as heat or inflammation, or sometimes it may be referred to as like over energy. Something is getting too much energy. What these numbers are not telling you, they are not diagnostic in the allopathic sense, and they're not telling you if something, if it's too much or too little. So it's not, if you're looking at vitamins, if it's blue, it's not a deficiency. It's just telling you that it's been out of balance for a longer period of time. And if it's red, where the value is high, the high doesn't mean that you're like, let's say you're looking at, in blood tests or whatever you're being tested for, it gives you a low and a high range, where high would be you have too much of it. It's not telling you that either. It's just telling you that it's out of balance, currently out of balance. So it's really important that everybody understands that, because I always get asked if it's a deficiency or if it's too much, and that's not what the information is telling you. Okay, and then we look at the yellow. To me, the items in the yellow are more harmonized. There's not one particular number that you're looking for. Basically, for me, if it's between 400 and 600, it's more balanced. Anything below that, which is really mostly the green, these are items that, the yellow are items that are really more like starting to integrate, and the green need more work, whereas the blue are either suppressed or they've just been out of balance for a long time. So anyway, that is what the colors and the numbers mean. Does anybody have any questions before I move on? Okay, so now that we are on the system overview page, we can look at what it says about what the Genius AI says. I'm just going to try to look at what the Genius AI says, since that is the focal point of today's training session, so we can see what type of information is coming up. So now it's only going to be looking at the information from this system overview page. Okay, so Genius Insight Diagnostic Report. The Genius Insight Overview Scan provides a comprehensive snapshot of your current energetic state, highlighting areas of stress, depletion, and potential imbalance across physical, emotional, and spiritual dimensions. This report interprets the scan results, offering insights into the underlying patterns and themes that may be influencing your well-being. It gives a little explanation of what I just went over, telling you that the scan represents your energetic response to various items on a scale of 1 to 777, not actual frequencies. The scores red, which are 600 plus and above, indicates hyperreactivity, acute stress, or overcompensation, while low scores, blue, 200 and below, suggest depletion, suppression, or energetic collapse. This distinction is crucial for accurately interpreting the results. So now it takes a look at the red items that showed up here. And it's picking up chemical sensitivities. It's showing that the number 765 indicates heightened sensitivity to environmental chemicals, potentially reflecting a compromised detoxification system or overwhelmed liver function. It also brings up Bach flower essences, which are also high at 746. This suggests an emotional or energetic imbalance that could be addressed through specific flower essences, pointing to unresolved emotional patterns. Hormones points to hormonal imbalances of stress or the endocrine system, which could be related to adrenal fatigue, thyroid issues, or other hormone dysregulations. Brain anatomy indicates stress or imbalance in the brain, potentially related to cognitive function, stress response, or neurological health, digestion. Then it moves on to the blue items, which could be depletion or suppression. Spiritual protection at a 5. Very low score here may indicate a need for strengthening spiritual boundaries or protection against negative influences. Brain EEG suggests a potential issue with brainwave activity or neurological function. Neurotransmitters indicates possible imbalance or depletion in neurotransmitter levels or function. Vitamin points to potential nutritional deficiencies or areas where supplementation could be beneficial. Sensitivities, a low score may suggest suppressed or hidden sensitivities that may need to be addressed. Goes on, physical layer. The high scores in chemical sensitivities, digestion, and hormones suggest a body under significant environmental or internal stress. There's a strong indication of compromised detoxification pathways. It talks about electrical sensitivities, as I'm like surrounded by so many, so much Wi-Fi on my desk. Emotional energetic layer, elevated scores in Bach flower essences and emotional categories underscore the presence or unresolved emotional patterns of trauma. The high reactivity in chakras, meridians indicate block energy flow or stagnation. This stagnation can contribute to physical symptoms. Spiritual layer, the low score in spiritual protection along other energetic and emotional stressors may indicate a need for spiritual realignment or protection. This could involve practices that strengthen the aura. Root cause hypotheses and themes. It's suggesting toxic overload and detoxification stress, emotional and energetic congestion, neurological stress and imbalance. And the recommendation, it offers a frequency therapy protocol. Begin with the aura, then with the spiritual protection. You could run detoxification and liver support. These are just suggestions. At this point, I still follow my own protocol. I don't necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily follow this, although it doesn't mean that you can't. And it wouldn't mean at times I wouldn't go back necessarily and look at it. But for those of you not knowing where to start or where to begin, this offers some really great information and, how to get started and what your first steps might be. It says lifestyle and vibrational actions. So it's talking about hydration and grounding, emotional processing, environmental detox, how you could do that. It also offers detox support like castor oil packs, herbal cleanses, sauna therapy. These are all great suggestions and really good to be able to offer your client in addition to their Genius sessions. closing cue, your body is initiating a deep healing response. Trust in its innate wisdom to guide you toward balance and coherence. And then it gives you again the disclaimer. So there was a lot of information in that, and that is really great. We can also then from here go to the general overview. The general overview is really great because instead of looking at all the everything by category and subcategory, the general overview combines all the custom libraries and all the line items from the system overview into one list. So you can see all your highs and lows from top to bottom. Oh, sorry, I have to, before we can go there, we have to analyze our custom libraries. So in order to do that, you go down to custom libraries. And you would hit begin session. Okay, and now we could go back to access the general overview. And so here it has all the custom libraries and the system overview in one list. And we can hit Genius AI. And again, explore findings and general overview. Okay, so this is interpreting. Now, this is going to vary for everyone. For me and in my Genius, I have over 3,000 libraries. So it is pulling together a lot of information from a lot of different line items. So we can see what this says. Biofield and physiology. The scan indicates multiple stress points and areas of depletion across various physiological systems. Notable stress themes include respiratory and immune stress, detoxification and elimination, neurological and mental, adrenal and hormonal balance, emotional and energetic resonance, mind and emotional level, emotional release and healing. Phrases like I release all past stresses held in my brain and clear release throat trauma through all lives indicate a deep-seated need to clear emotional and traumatic residues. So that helps guide you a little bit on what's going on. We can go down to and read some of these. Let's see. Soul path and blueprint activation, references to client following the life path, and alchemy of the third dimension. Now, again, this information is going to be dependent on what type of libraries you have. It's pulling out line items from specific libraries I have. So the information that comes up here is going to be very varied. If you don't have libraries that deal with this, you're not going to see information on these topics. So just know that if you're wondering why you don't see the same type of information, if it's talking about karmic and ancestral clearing or soul path or things like that, those are the kind of, I have those libraries in my collection, and that's why it's able to talk about it. Recommendations, custom frequency protocol. So it gives all different types of possible libraries. It's probably pulling these library names because if you look in the general overview, it gives you the library. So that's how it's telling you what to work with. So again, that is going to be different from it for everybody. It gives a closing reflection. As you breathe in, imagine fresh cleansing energy entering your body. As you exhale, envision stagnant or outdated patterns dissolving. You are in the process of recalibrating your own highest potential. So it gives you some, great information in here as well. So let us go back. So one thing here, if you wanted to remove all the libraries, you could do that. Looking at the Genius AI here, once all the libraries are removed, let's look. I'm not sure if it will give different information. It does actually. Oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't change the information, whether the libraries, it gives you your information based on the libraries being in. And I guess that's because if you were to back out here, and now you're in the system overview, the general AI gives you the interpretation of all the items in the system overview. So when you're in the general overview, I know it doesn't say it here, but we're in the general overview right now. The Genius AI is interpreting as if all your libraries are in the general overview. So even if you remove them, it is going to be talking about all of the libraries in there. Okay, so trying to think what else. Claire, was there any other areas that the AI is going to give you an interpretation? I don't think so.
It doesn't appear in Entangled Insights, does it?
Oh, good call. Okay, so let's just look at, I don't know what we want to look at. Let's look at herbs. Let's look at Angelica. I don't think it does. Yeah, there's no
Not there yet.
Genius AI in here. And there is no Genius AI when you go into Progressive Insights either. We can double check that, but if we were to add, so I just dragged in infection, energetic disturbances, and I dragged that into the main hold tray. And now if I hit play, yeah, there isn't any AI that's right here. I guess that's because you can look at this through the system overview. But it doesn't, it won't give you, I don't think. Oh, it does. Okay, so sorry guys. I'm still getting used to this too. You could go into, so let's just see, sensitivities. Okay, so sensitivities has all your food. So let's see what it says if you're in this panel for sensitivities. Okay, so energetic diagnosis. The sub-panel data reveals a significant stress response to various allergens and sensitivities, with the top stress items being egg, chocolate, and dairy. These scores indicate a strong energetic reaction, potentially reflecting an underlying intolerance or sensitivity. Other items like barley, dust, and oats also shown elevated stress levels, suggesting a pattern of adverse reactions to common foods and environmental factors. The clustering of food sensitivities, egg, dairy, chocolate, and environmental allergens, dust, mites, and pollen, points to a hyperactive immune response or heightened allergic reactivity. This could be contributing to overall energetic stress and potentially impacting physical and emotional well-being. So that is really interesting. I can tell you that that, you know, again, I don't know how accurate this is in interpreting me, only because I did not put my name in. However, with that said, I eat a lot of egg and dairy, and if I were to splurge, it would be with chocolate. So maybe I'm eating too much of it and I need to eat less of it or diversify a little bit more, but I do not have allergies to them that I am aware of. But certainly if you're not diversifying what you're eating, that could cause an issue. The pattern may reflect an imbalanced immune system potentially triggered by unresolved stress, environmental toxins, or dietary factors. The presence of both food and environmental allergens suggests a possible underlying theme of sensitivity or intolerance that is not limited to a single category. It's as if the energetic field is struggling to differentiate between internal and external stresses, amplifying the overall stress response. And then frequency therapy recommendation. So again, it talks to you, run the protocol 3 times a week for 12 to 15 minutes, start with the highest stressors. So this is great. So again, for anybody that is new or doesn't know what to do, is just starting out, these are giving you great suggestions on where to begin and what to do. So, you know, I would, you know, really recommend to anybody that's just starting out and needs some guidance on how to work through your systems, this can definitely help you. Given the presence of sensitivities to foods and environmental factors, supporting the body's natural detoxification processes may be beneficial. Consider the following: increase water intake to flush out toxins, sauna therapy, and then it gives a client empowerment message. As you work with these frequencies, remember that you are taking steps towards reclaiming your energetic balance and reducing your sensitivities to stressors. Okay, that's all pretty clear. And again, it just a reminder, it does not diagnose, treat, or cure. It identifies energetic stress patterns and offers potential balancing frequencies for wellness support. That is really important. And it's great that that is showing up there. So again, we're getting close to, we have about, 10 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions? Do they like having the Genius AI in here? I would love to hear from you to see what you think about all this. And I'm actually,
Jennifer mentioned that she's been playing around with it a little bit.
excellent. And do you like it, Jennifer?
It's okay. I think it needs some work. I'm not a huge AI fan, so I have kind of mixed issues with it.
Sure. Again, anything, any AI is never going to be 100% correct. It always tells you to double check everything. So if your gut is suggesting something else, I would definitely go with your gut and not necessarily go with that. This is just here as a little bit of a guidance to help. Cece's asking, can the AI be removed or made inactive? It is subscription based. So it's not, if you don't have the subscription for it, you won't be getting that information. Isn't that right, Claire? Or right now it's in the beta.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It's at a lower price rate at the moment, with it being beta testing. But I don't think there's any way that you can get rid of that button, unfortunately, if that's what she was meaning.
But if you don't hit it, it's not active.
Correct.
So I hope that answers your question, Cece. It's not filtering everybody's information through. It only filters the information if you click on that button. So you're deactivated unless you hit it. Anyone else have any questions on that? While we're talking about, since the AI, the Genius AI gives a lot of reports, one report that I always like to point out is in the back office under reporting. And it's this middle one right here where you get a quick report. And it gives you, it picks out some of the top things that showed up. But one of the areas that I like is at the bottom. It tells you the energy level. So it's saying about 77%, which is pretty good. Degenerative energy is at 4%. That's pretty good. I'm happy about that. Degenerative energy is an estimation of the degenerative energy. This is the energy of oxidative stress, decaying energy from the cells going through oxidative stress. Also, nitric oxidative stress could be considered part of this degenerative energy on a cellular level. When the cells are functioning optimally, there will be some oxidative stress activity. However, an increase in degenerative energy results in aging faster. So hopefully that's at 4% and I will be aging slowly. Counterproductive energy, again, an estimation of the ability to convert your energy intake into resourceful energy, the amount of energy your body spends on counteracting disruptive energies or imbalances in your body, like food, allergies, autoimmune response reactions, etc. This is not only cellular, but it can also be systematic. So perhaps what we saw in the sensitivities is showing up in this number. So maybe if I continue to work on that, this number here would decrease a little bit. Toxicity at 33%. While I would love that to be 0, I am encouraged that it's at 33%. Would like to get that lower, but this is an estimation of your inner terrain toxicity. Toxicity is the level of waste in the body which has not been eliminated. Toxicity can be in your body's tissues, blood. You need to reduce or eliminate the toxins in your body. So again, that's just suggesting to work on detoxification. And I do believe that came up in one of the Genius AI panels. So that kind of matches in there. Jennifer's asking, so all those should be low except for the first one. That is correct. Your energy high and everything else low. So yeah, that's what you would want to see. And you could print this up. You could export this report to somebody's Quanta capsule, or you can email it. So there's a lot of ways to get this to your clients. I really like this report. It gives some information. It doesn't give too much where the client may be overwhelmed or not understand what it is that they're actually looking at. So again, I do like this report a lot. If it says test here, but whatever the client's name, it would show up right here, and it gives you the day and time, date and time of the session. So it's easy to, if they wanted to keep a track of, they can, see. It wouldn't be able to be tracking these items, but you can certainly, look over time and see, is there degenerative energy? How are they doing? Is it going down? Is it staying the same? So these are some nice areas that you could work with and try to track your client's progress. So that is pretty much all for today. I hope that you really enjoyed that. We are going to be working more with the Genius AI and trying to make improvements with it. So if you do have any questions or have any suggestions on things you may like to see, you can always email in those questions. You could email them into me at denisearmenio4@gmail.com. I should have put that in the chat, but anyway, you can send them to me, or you could always, there's nowhere to put it in the back office, right, Claire?
No.
Because, yeah, so you could either email it to me and I'll get it into Ryan Williams, who's the developer, or you can email Ryan directly himself. So anyway, that is all for today. Claire, thank you so much for your assistance in the back office. If anyone has any questions, you can always email me. And I look forward to seeing everybody. It's always the first Thursday of the month, so I look forward to seeing you. I think it's August 7th is the date, but double check your calendars. But whatever the first Thursday of the month is when we will be back. So thank you again, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.
Yes, it's the 7th, Denise.
Oh, great. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Claire.
Thank you.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Mm.